Hello family, friends, and YouTube. Today is May 10th and Snowee has 5,013 miles on her, and I thought I would do another Mythbusters episode. I don't know why I do these, but a lot of people have said things to the effect that, hey, you know, you put that Goldwing in sports mode and you'll stand that sucker straight up. And I don't know. I highly doubt it with a DCT. Maybe I'm pretty sure I can do it with a clutch. For those of you just joining the channel, you know I came from the sports bike world, and my last bike was a Suzuki Hayabusa 2013 limited edition Canyon yellow and black. And it was awesome. So right now I'm going to get on the interstate, go down here to exit 11. I gotta find a place where I could play and not get a ticket and not be reckless. But right now we're in tour mode, and I will go on down here and get off on an exit. But now a lot of people seem to think that the Goldwing, since it has 125 foot-pounds of torque at 4,500 RPMs, that's going to do the trick. And that is a lot of torque. But you got to also remember that the Goldwing's engine is up front. It's low and centered and up front. So I'm not saying that I don't believe that you can stand one up if you had the manual, because I believe if you had enough to flutter the clutch, you'll be able to stand it up. Now, I stood my boost up all the time, but I could do that with just raw power. You're going to have raw power to stand a DCT up anyway. And since I've already done both break-in oil changes, so I've done 2 oil changes so far, and I have ridden the bike just over 5,000 miles, so I consider the bike broke in. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. This will probably be the only time I ride this way, because I've kind of got away from that type of world. But you know, it's never going to be all the way out of my system, but it is for now. I'm going to just do this today. I'm going to test it up with the system, and I'm going to see if I can make Snowee dance and see if I can stand her up as a DCT. Now, I'm quite sure for me to get the maximum torque and everything, I'm probably going to have to switch over to where I'm controlling the gear shifting, so I can keep it at a higher RPM before it shifts. But right now, let's go ahead and drop the visor, and there's the wind. Right now Snowee is in tour mode, and there is absolutely no way in the world you're going to stand her up in tour mode. So right now I am barely rolling, and I'm in 3rd gear. I'm going to downshift. No, she is, no matter what you say, she might want to look like she's coming up. She will extend those forks. Now this is tour mode, folks. I'm not in sports mode. She wants to extend those forks, and that's okay. But extending the forks and keeping that RPMs down here is not enough, you know. So we're gonna drop down in sports mode, and of course I don't want all this traffic up here, but let me go ahead and switch her to sports mode. And now with sports mode, you see that she wants to hold the gears a little longer. So I am curious, can we get her up? So I'll go down this dip here, and I'm going to downshift, and I'm going to downshift. Under 4,000. Alright. Let's downshift again. I know second's not going to do it, but I shouldn't have asked for second to even think about it. You're going to have to get this up. You're going to have to get this up in a much lower gear. More than likely first gear only. Because second it doesn't have enough in sports mode to stand her up on her front end. So now I'm down to first gear and going up a hill. This is best conditions. Alright, so I'm gonna go with that ain't happening. So let me downshift. Let me get through this curve. Let me just go back to my booster days. I'm in sports mode. And you can hear the wind dancing in my helmet. But now I got no cars behind me, so let me slow down a little bit. Alright, so now we're downshift to third, downshift to second, downshift to first, put my weight, position my weight differently, bark it. No. There we are. Stand it. No. I need a little bit more oomph in order to get the bike to fully extend. So could I do it with a clutch? You betcha. If I had a way to just hold the RPMs just a little bit higher, I would be able to stand her up. You're not going to stand her up in third. You're not going to stand her up in second. The only chance you have is first gear. Alright, I got the tire to bark a little. Alright, there you go, folks. She will come up off the ground. Alright, you got to let the forks go down. And let the front forks go down. Use that cushion. Down, up. Alright. So we got to down and up. So down, up. Yes. Okay, she's off the ground. Would I be able to wheelie her? No. Pretty sure I can't get it up that high. Use the forks, down it, up. Alright. Alright, she's it will lift her off the ground, folks. If that was the underlying question, you can get her down, but I don't believe you're going to be able to get her up high enough. Here we go. Dance, dance it, dance, dance. Alright, so she'll come off the ground. She will come off the ground, but you're only going to get her off the ground about maybe 2 inches. You can feel the shocks snap in place. Let me turn her around, and you will feel it. Well, I got it a little bit. You could get her off an inch. You're not going to do it in second. You're not going to do it in third. Your only chance is fourth. And I believe I got a cop behind me, so that didn't work out well. So I'm going to have to more than likely deal with this cop. I should have turned right there. Let me see if I can get the cop to go past me. So we'll turn in right up here. I know I'm riding in this RPMs. Is it gonna follow me? No. Good. One undercover cop out the way. All right. We're down to first. I can bark that tire. Oh yeah, I can break traction with that back tire. She's off the ground. She comes off the ground, but she will not come up enough. So as much as I've ridden, I think I can say safely that you're not going to get her up in the air and hit that break point, that sweet point. No, you're not gonna hit that sweet point enough to get the tire to float on you. Now, if I had a clutch, I would be able to float her. This is dirt and gravel, don't want to hear. First gear, maximum torque is 4,000. We will launch at 3 and jam it. I can make the tire bark. But I cannot get her off the ground. Now, of course, some of you'll ask, hey, if you didn't weigh 250 pounds, do you think you could stand her up if you were lighter? I would say probably not. But with a manual transmission and you have the clutch that you can flutter, yeah, you can stand her up. Now, even though I've gotten her up an inch or two off the ground, the front nose, another cop way over there, but even though I got her off the ground an inch or so, and she will come up, and you can bark the back tire, so I can make the back tire spin a little bit. You got to be in sports mode. You have to manually do this yourself. Well, I didn't even know. I wasn't paying attention at all. I had no idea this was coming to a dead end. And it is a very loose dead end. So sports mode does have a little pep in it. It holds the gear longer, but I'm gonna have to say no, you cannot stand up a DCT even in sports mode. Now, like I said, I've hit it hard. I've hit it at its thresh point of 125 pounds of torque at 4,000 RPMs. I've launched before it and I've launched after it. And the best I can do is to rock the shocks downward, forward, and then give yourself a little bit more room for it to yank it up. So you would actually have to slow down with the front forks, get them to compress a little bit, then launch. So if you had them down and then up, so that's the trick, down then up, and I can do it every time. So I just don't like the amount of rev and everything you have on the engine. It just feels like the engine feels like it strains to. It wants to run. Of course it wants to run. It's a bike. Scrape them foot deflectors. But all it's doing is really, I'm in 5th gear and I was doing all that. So really all it's doing is just holding onto the gear a little longer. From the basic throttle response and the torque ratio, you're not going to be able to do it from tour mode. But at this pace right here, I know I can yank it. So yeah, this may have been where I scraped the foot peg a minute ago. For those of you asking, no, I'm not going to ride my bike like that again. I'm just doing a myth buster or a truth buster, whatever you want to call it. And the answer is tour mode. No, you will not stand a Goldwing up a DCT. I could probably still do it with a clutch, if I had a clutch. But a DCT, no, you're not going to stand it up in tour mode. You're not standing a DCT up in second gear, third gear. I don't care how much torque you got, you're not going to stand it up in that. You can stand it up in first gear, but you need that sweet spot, and in order to get that sweet spot, you need the front shocks to compress, then you launch, and you will be able to get it up. If you don't get it, I mean, you'll get it up an inch or two, and then you can get the back tire to break free. So if you had any kind of wet surfaces or anything like that, you can definitely crash by breaking free that rear tire. The rear tire will break free. I've done it a couple times on this little thing here. But if you're already rolling in fifth gear and you hit that sports mode, like right now we're in sports mode in fifth gear, and I can yank the throttle, you know, and it doesn't really have a whole lot of bite to it. I'll go right here, staying in sports mode. I'm in fourth gear. Yeah, even if you yank it, it just wants to roll and stay in that gear. So I get that. That's how you're getting a lot out of your sports mode with the torque. You're getting it from this. So we'll go up here to the interstate. The sports mode to me just seems like it hangs onto the gear a little too long. I know it's trying to replicate high performance. It just doesn't need to hold it necessarily that long. I'm sure the computer will probably adjust to the riding style if you did it enough. This is only the second time I've been in sports mode since I've had this bike. The first time was going through Memphis. I wanted to fight through the traffic, but I don't see it. I can say that you can get the front wheel to brake the plane an inch, maybe two. Will you have enough to hit that sweet spot to bring it up? Doesn't appear to be so. So I got all this traffic here, so I can't really do much. But I'm wide open throttle, and it wants to get the RPMs high. For those who come from the sports bike world, potholes. You're coming from the sports bike world and you're looking for that rocket. No, it's not, doesn't have that rocket. I could equate it to a 650 or so in the sports bike world in sports mode. Just that I don't particularly care for this version of sports mode, because to me, you hear the roaring of the engine. That's just too much. It's too many RPMs. I don't like it running that high on RPMs for an extended period of time. We haven't even changed the 7th gear yet because it wants to hold the gears, and I'm doing almost 70. It just now 70, and it just changed to 7th gear in sports mode. So the trick to it is, all it wants to do is just hold the gear longer. So I'm going to say no, you cannot stand up a DCT 6th generation Goldwing, even when you're manually switching the gears. You cannot stand it up. You can get the front wheel to brake the plane. You can get it up, an inch or two by compressing the shock as you let the shock go down, then come back as part of a recoil. You could do that. But I guess I set out to do a demonstration, and I did it. If anybody else out there, let me get out of this sports mode. I want tour. I don't want rain. I don't think I'll ever have it in rain, but here I'm in tour. We're back to normal riding. But if anybody out there can prove me wrong, please show me a video of a DCT. Now, I am telling you right now, with the clutch, I could stand this bike up. Now, I'm not sure how well it's going to come back down, because I'm not sure that amount of weight and hitting that front shocks and stuff, I'm not sure if I want to do that as a habit, because that's a lot of weight hitting on them front shocks. But I can prove to you that I can get it going, and I can get it an inch or two off the ground. So I guess the question is, can you get the wheel off the ground? Yes. Can you break the back tire from traction in sports mode in first gear? Yes. Can you bring it up high enough to make it go into, break the plane, the sweet spot to the wheelie? No. Could you do it on a manual? Absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind. A manual transmission, give me a clutch and let me flutter it, and I wouldn't have to shrink the front shocks. Yeah, I could get it up. Well, until next time, just live your life.